नमस्कार फ्रेंड, आप सभी का एक बार फिर से वेलकम। फ्रेंड्स, 7 दिसंबर एमयू साइंड अंडर 12th बाईपार्टाइट सेटलमेंट और तब से वर्किंग और रिटायरी दोनों में गहमागहमी चल रही है। बैंक्स वर्कर्स यूनिटी, व्हाट नेक्स्ट आफ्टर एमयू ऑफ 12th बाईपार्टाइट सेटलमेंट? On 7 December midnight, the MOU Memorandum of Understanding of 12th Bipartite Settlement was signed between IBA and UFBU, with 8 unions together and AIBA separately. The details of the MOU have been given, already circulated. Some of the significant aspects of this MOU. For the first time, the MOU has been signed within 14 months of expiry of the previous 11 bipartite settlement and without any agitation. Normally, the gap used to be around 24 months and above. Further, the MOU could be reached in the 5th round of the discussion, which commenced in July 23. In between, there have been many subcommittee and small committee meetings on other financial demands, service conditions including disciplinary matters, whereas the MOU for the 11th bipartite settlement could be reached only after 44 rounds of the discussions. While the initial offer of the previous 2 bipartite settlement ranged between 0% and 2%, this time the initial offer itself was 15% hike in the payslip component. While the 11th bipartite settlement was clinched with 15% increase in the payslip component, this MOU provides 17% increase in the payslip component amounting rupees 12,449 crores. This MOU provides for monthly ex gratia for the pensioners and the family pensioner. Offer of IBA was conditional. While there has been some positive aspect as mentioned above, IBA was very adamant and negative in not settling many of the core demands of the unions and associations. Many of the important demands that have been raised even during the 11th bipartite settlement still remain unsettled in this MOU. The offer of the IBA was conditional. While the union and association choose to arrive at this MOU, the concluding remark of Comrade Rupam Rai, General Secretary of IBOC, is significant. Though I am not totally happy with my expectation to take care of the issues of the officers, particularly on load, we wanted more. But when we come as UFBU and when we have our retired officers, IBA is thinking to improve their benefits. Despite disappointed personally, taking everything into account, we as a team of UFBU, we have no option but to accept it MOU with a positive frame of mind that in the further negotiation, the issues will be taken in the right spirit so that the aspirations are met. It is clear that this MOU is mixed with certain positive features and at the same time not addressing many of the core issues raised by the unions and associations. Hence, the leader of UFBU have to ponder over the expectation of the bank employees and officers and try to clinch them before signing the final settlement, which is slated to be done within 180 days from the date of MOU. The primary demand of all unions and associations of merging a special allowance with the dearness allowance with the basic pay has to be clinched. Otherwise, the special allowance, which is now 16.4% of the basic pay, is likely to swell to around 25% and will not be eligible for calculation of any of the superannuation benefit and the interest of the retirees during the 10th, 11th and the 12th bipartite settlements would be severely injured. Note with understanding the above primary demand loading of 3% is too low. The loading during the 10th bipartite was 2%, 11th bipartite was 2.5%, hardly 0.5% improvement could be made vis-a-vis 11th bipartite settlement. This is really disappointing. A serious endeavor has to be made to increase the loading substantially while signing the final settlement so that there is no room for increasing the special allowance from the present 16.4%. The merger point has to be increased to 8576 instead of 8088. There will not be any additional cost, not even a rupee, due to this, but the future loss of the DA can be averted as happened during the 11th bipartite settlement. For bank employees, it was 0.07%. For insurance employees, it was 0.08%. 5-day banking has been one of the important demands of the unions and the association for nearly a decade. A firm commitment from the IBA government with regard to implementation of this main demand is absent in the MOU. The reply in the parliament is evasive. While employees and officers of the General Insurance and Reserve Bank have been enjoying 5 days working for so many years, the Life Insurance Corporation has also switched over to 5 days working since April 21. This core issue has to be implemented before signing the final settlement. Another core demand is updation of pension. It is highly disappointing that there is no commitment from IBA on this demand. This was one of the contentious demand raised by unions and association for quite a few years. As this was not clinched during the 11th bipartite settlement, minutes were exchanged between IBA and the unions and association in which this was one of the major demands. In the meantime, Reserve Bank employees and officers got updation of pension twice. Even actuarial calculations were not made with regard to the cost of updation of pension, and it is not mentioned in the MOU when the issue is likely to be clinched. In the MOU, only the demand of the unions association for updation of pension for all retirees is recognized. Beyond that, there is no improvement. While this MOU provided ex gratia as an interim relief, the core demand of updation of pension has to be clinched before the final settlement. The other demands like full pension on completion of 20 years of service, last month's pay or average of the last 10 months pay, whichever is higher for calculation of pension, commutation and 40%, restoration of commuted amount after 10 years instead of the present 15 years also do not find place in the MOU. These issues also need to be clinched while signing the final settlement. And other important demand of the union and associations has been the scrapping NPS and bringing all those covered under NPS to the defined benefit old pension scheme. The young bank employees and officers who joined the industry after 1st April 2010 and on whom the NPS has been thrust are very eager to come out of this scheme as there is no defined benefit in this. 5 state governments have already gone for the old pension scheme, scrapping NPS for their employees. Many more state governments are likely to follow. Even BMS, Bharat Mazdoor Sangh, the trade union owing allegiance to the ruling BJP, has demanded scrapping of NPS. Several thousands of employees have conducted massive dharna in New Delhi in the recent past on more than one occasion demanding scrapping of NPS. This demand has to be clinched at the time of the final settlement. In the service conditions, disciplinary matters, etc., more improvements are needed, which have been rightly raised by the unions and associations, and those issues have also to be clinched at the time of the final settlement, genuine demands to be settled. It is to be noted that in the last 5 years, 18, 19 to 2022 and 23, the amount written off of the banks by the scheduled commercial banks amount rupees 10 crore 10,105,7,236 crore. If there is a change in the corporate lending policy and if the stringent laws are enacted, it is possible to recover overwhelming majority of the written amounts from the corporates, and if 2% of this written amount amounting rupees 21,146 crore is allotted for the wage increase of the employees and officer, all the aspirants of the employees and officers can be met. If IBA government does not come forward to settle the genuine demands of the employees and officers, they are very much ready to go on a struggle to clinch the same. The retirees are ready to extend their solidarity and support, taking the whole situation into the consideration. Right decision has to be taken by the UOPU. Friends, इस MU में पॉजिटिव और निगेटिव दोनों बातों का इस में समावेश है। हालांकि कुछ बातें ऐसी हैं जैसे स्पेशल अलाउंस का मसला, जो यूनियन और IBA के बीच में डिस्कशन का मुद्दा ही नहीं बना, और ऐसे कुछ अन्य बातें हैं जो हम फाइनल सेटलमेंट की तरफ गौर करते हैं। लेकिन ये बात भी सच है कि क्या IBA आने वाले दिनों में जो फाइनल सेटलमेंट के लिए मिनट्स तैयार हो, उसमें जो हमारे डिमांड्स अनटच्ड रह गए हैं उनको क्या प्रेफरेंस देगी, क्या प्रायोरिटी पे देगी, या फिर ये रेजिडुअल इशू की तरह 11 बाइपार्टाइट के रेजिडुअल इशू की तरह अगले 5 साल तक खींचेंगे जिसके बारे में कोई डिसीजन नहीं होगा। सो UOPU लीडर्स must be careful to finalize the minutes of the 12th bipartite, and before signing the minutes they must be assured that the benefits of employees must be protected. Thank you. Namaskar.